Hello again, Ian Stokey with Mastermind Games here, going back into the wonderful world of Monsterpocalypse with the Shadow Sun Syndicate monster Zor-Maxim. So I'm starting out with Deep Red 09002. This is not an quote official color scheme, but something I came up with, so there you have it. And I will be attaching him to his base at the end. So the Zors are the pinnacle of the Shadow Sun Syndicate's weapons technology and are giant cybernetic ninjas capable of growing to giant size to easily match the assorted monsters currently turning Earth into a free-for-all. I guess mosh pit would have been a better way of saying it. But in the original version of the game, they were collaborators with the biotech power source. And now power sources are a thing of the past, as is the collaborators' agenda. They're now protectors. They started out as a crime syndicate, and as time wore on, they learned their legitimate business practices and political influence campaigns were making them more money than their criminal enterprises. So, and had been hoarding technology for their own use. And when the Monsterpocalypse came around and the Planet Eaters arrived, it seemed like a good time to use it. They're believed to have killed the 6th unnamed planet eater that crash landed near Japan. And Zor-Maxim is a power-attacking fiend just like he was in the original game. And in this case he is at least twice the size, because the original miniature is fairly puny compared to this. So try to remember to pull him out of my closet and compare him to the new sculpt at the end of the video. Let's see, I want... the whole hands. This is tricky not having a base to grip, but if I paint while he's glued onto the base, it'll just mess it up. And aside from really liking the clear acrylic bases, well, that's mostly it. I like the clear acrylic bases, and any paint flux will be difficult to remove at best. So just like last time I did Monpoc, I will be gluing him on after painting. Trying to get all the underlying, we'll call it flesh, but it's more likely some kind of exoskeleton. And then how about... let's see how to do this without do the heel and the toes here. Yep, this is going to involve some very awkward grip at the bottom of the foot. I didn't have as much trouble cleaning him for painting as I did with Spirit Defender X, but had a few challenges to say the least. And this is going to be a somewhat simpler color scheme with just 2 colors and the lighting effects. So, okay, how to brace him. Yep. Gonna clean my brush and just have to call that good for now. So, back in a minute. A 09205 Blackened Steel. So, since Zor-Maxim is supposed to be a giant ninja, I lost track of the paperclip I was using on the plug. There it is. I wanted to go for an overall darker color scheme with him. Okay, try to focus. Not that brush. Get the mask. And he is a metal resin kit. His monomolecular arm blades were metals, were irritating to glue on. But I should also mention, this is what my little brother Stefan gave me for Christmas this year, so thank you, Stefan. Okay. Not too concerned about these divots there. Those are going to be lit up by the time I finish, so not as relevant to, oh crap, not as relevant to get them right now. Keeping the brush nice and wet. But not overly so. I guess moist is a better word for it. Being careful on the chin where it overlaps his collar here. Making sure his eyes are still visible. Okay. Now I have some units to go with them that are going to be next, but I did have some problems priming them. For some reason, the primer just did not want to stick to certain areas. I'm not sure what was going on, but oh well. So getting the hard plates of his armor. Okay. Go ahead and get his waist before I move on to his arms and legs. Might have to do this in 2 tries just because of angles here and, well, lack of gripping space, since, again, I've not got him mounted on a base yet. Now he's starting to look kind of sinister, but then again, from a certain point of view, Batman looks sinister too, so... And that orb in the back of the hand is going to be lit up by the time I'm finished as well, so I'm not worried about that right this minute. I think I nicked his fingers there. Well, you know, that should come out when I do the shading and highlights, so it should be fine. Now this will be a little trickier right here because the blade, his monomolecular too much saliva in my mouth today, are going to be lit up, so I'm just going to go that far out. Now for his other forearm. And monomolecular means one molecule. And generally in sci-fi refers to edged weapons that are sharpened to the thickness of only one molecule. It is only slightly larger than an atom. So a molecule of water, for example, is 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom. And in theory, anyway, would be about as sharp as something gets. Now, Maxim here also has a blast attack, but not until he hits hyperform. So it doesn't really say on his card what form that takes. So... let's see how I'm on time. Gotta watch a clock because I'm working on my laundry too, which is just a simple fire and forget kind of task. But still, I need to be mindful. Because I'm certain I'm not the only one who's got to do laundry today, and it would be just rude to sit on it all day. Okay, let's see if I can get the other leg with a grip like this. This is going to be kind of funky. I'll start with the strap here, and the foot, and go up and around. again, this is kind of tricky. Let's see here. I think that'll get it. Yeah, I'm not worried about that little white showing there. That's going to get lit up when I'm done anyway, like I said before. A little bit of this silver I didn't want. Let's just blot it out with a little water. And get back into it. I think I got enough. I think I've got exactly enough paint to do what I need to do here. And this is going to look awesome when I'm done. So, after I've painted up what I have here in my queue, at least in terms of Monsterpocalypse, I'll probably get some more units for Guard and Planet Eaters, then pick up a new Destroyer monster and some units to go with them. Okay, that's got it, so need to let that dry, and then I can start shading and get ready for the lighting effects. Alright, Adamantium Black 09124. About half paint, half water to thin it out to a wash. And this is a metallic black. Making sure that gets kind of inside the collar. And Zor-Maxim here can only be assembled in one pose, so there's that. It's alright though. Keep your brush really wet during this step. I'm going to focus on his torso before I go to his arms and legs. I'm really concerned about that section though, just because that's going to get lit up. Slowing down his leg in a way I don't want. That happens sometimes. That's why you go high to low. In case this should be okay by the time I'm finished. the brush really wet during this step. I can't emphasize that enough. When shading, go to the highest area of the model first, going down to the lowest, base coat's lowest area to highest, highlights lowest to highest again. So low to high, high to low, low to high. And you'll see the black is already going into some of the channels here, but that's okay because those are going to be lit up. But you'll see where some of the lighting effects are going to end up. I think I'm just trying to slaughter the English language again. I work in a place surrounded by people who barely speak, well, any cohesive language, despite considering English their primary and only language. In fact, I work with people for whom English is a second language that speak it better than some of the primary English speakers I work with. It's kind of having a negative effect on my own speech patterns. Okay, that's first layer of shading. I'm going to have to let that completely dry before I move on to the next. Alright, red brick 09001. Turn my speaker down so the reverb's down too. Okay. About half paint, half water to dilute it to a wash. I'm trying to make certain I'm still in camera for this. This is again, the only physical way I can do this is to have my camera rig or my computer behind me. Maybe I can change that up someday, but it's not possible for the foreseeable future, so. At the rate I'm going, I'd say this paint job for Shadow Sun Syndicate is going to end up looking unintentionally sinister overall, but you know what, that's alright. deal on this leg. Got the black and white, I didn't want to. Spread it out, okay. Switch my grip to get the other foot. Not easy doing this, but limited choices here. Since I'm not doing the getting glued on until after painting. Alright. It's got that. Now that has to dry completely. Or did I get his, nope, I forgot his left hand. Which is easy enough to fix. Okay. Now, all I have to do is blot up some of the red that got on his gauntlet for starters. Which happens. Okay. Now, once that's dry, I can get the lighting effects started. Alright, time to get started on the lighting effects. 09039 pure white. Tiny brush for this. Well, I better do those last. So. The eyes. The teleport beacon. That's one of his things now. He can he's got the teleport action. Which means, since he can do that any time, he can pound on an enemy monster, and then teleport a unit in front of him to help block any retaliation. Okay. I keep my focus on one area at a time with this. Try not to punch out my camera while I do this either, but... Oh, okay. I am kind of looking at the box as a reference off camera here. See what they did to see what I want to do, but this... Got all these channels in his limbs. This might take longer than the rest. Than getting actual lighting effects in here. It's not easy painting a nanotechnological titan like this. I've noticed I tend to be more quiet when I'm really gotta focus. Okay, that was... I think that's the worst of it. This spillover will just help get the impression of glowing. Bit much there. Just blot that out with some water and a paper towel. Okay. I want to get it done right without making sure I go too overboard. Okay, now I can get the monomolecular blades and finish this up. Fairly nerve-wracking step. I'm just going to touch up the white. Okay, now that was tense. So, now, just have to let that dry, and then I can actually put the lighting color in. Whew! Okay. Amethyst Purple 09024. And 2 to 3 times the usual amount of water for the lighting. Be kind of cautious because my arm's getting kind of twitchy right now. Okay, yeah, I'm just a bit worn out right this minute. Okay, so looks like this coming year they're actually escalating the release of factions. So I've seen on Privateer Press's official sources, not just so showing that Demos 9, Sky Sentinel are coming out, but also Yashith for Lords of Cthulhu, Armadax for Pterosaurs. So I can only assume that Zor Raiden won't be far behind. But I've already announced the second block of factions, the Subterran Uprising, Ubercorp International, Tritons, and Empire of the Apes this coming year. So I can only assume in that case that Elemental Champions and Savage Swarm will be part of that as well. So, exciting times for Monsterpocalypse ahead. And curiously enough, this seems to be repelling my paint somehow. I don't know what's going on, but... Huh. Same things happened with some of the other models recently. I don't know. Just curiosity, I'll call it for now. Let's make sure I'm in camera. Okay. That gets the lighting effects. So once that's all dried up, I can go ahead and highlight and detail and glue him on his base. Alright, time to highlight. Blood Red 09003. So with the dry brushing technique, you're going to put your paint on your brush with no water. That's critical. Then brush it on a paper towel until looks like there's nothing left. Now in Maxim's case, I'm doing the part of the bottom of the foot that's actually showing, because he's going to be standing, he's kind of standing on his toe here. And high to low, or low to high to low to high for shading order. Or, yeah, for painting, shading, highlight order. And I'm concerning myself mostly with the most readily visible surfaces. Then for brush selection, you want a ratty old brush, so not your best. The rattier and more feathered it is, the better it is for brushing. Or for dry brushing, sorry. Making sure to get those abs showing through. Because I'm certain if Zor-Maxim's putting in the time at the gym to get abs like that, he'd want them shown off. Okay. Clean out my brush, and I'm actually just going to go ahead and switch to a different brush. And Tarnished Steel 09206. No, wait, I just realized I forgot to do his hands. Rats. Gotta watch that. Okay, now that's better. Now Tarnished Steel 09206. Getting there. Minor dry brushing helps to go against the grain of edges and ridges. Okay, I'm getting a little more paint. That was almost enough to get the job done. Let's make sure I'm on camera here. Well, kinda. My thumb's a bit in the way, but there's not much I can do about that because this is about the only way I can grip him. Now I got some better choices for grip. Okay, got him. Now there's only one thing left to do, and that is glue him on his base. So I'm going to draw out my brush, put that away, get my glue out. So I use extra thick cyanoacrylate glue, and I kept the acrylic base in its little plastic sandwich until the last minute to keep it as pristine as possible, because a lot can happen when you've got something near the work table. Got a glue on the toes here. And on the foot, just a little dot is going to be plenty. Make sure to cap your glue right away. And then compose like you want. I'm going to get about dead center and let that set for a bit. About a 20 count, so okay, that's got him. There we go. Zor-Maxim from Shadow Sun Syndicate. And up next, I've got some units to go with him. So, until next time, I am Ian Stokey with Mastermind Games, signing out.